We went to Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park in the first part of May 2024. They kind of go hand in hand. And let's face it, a lot of people come here for the great seafood. So let's start there with the food. Of course, Maine is known for lobster and seafood, and we did a good amount of testing it. And I had some of the best scallops and oysters I've ever had, and of course the lobster. We did like Galen's. We actually went there twice. And we went to the West Street Cafe for a lobster roll, which was very good. And the food is really good. But you do have to enjoy seafood. Maine is known to have some of the best lobsters in the world. So you know what they say, while in Maine, take a lobster boat tour. And that's what we did. We went on Lulu's boat, which they specialize on lobster tours, teaching you about the lobster business and of course about lobsters.
It's going to be on their winter mooring. It is too dangerous to leave a boat up here.
We were lucky. The time we went, there was only 4 other people on the tour with us, so it was only a total of 6, which made it almost like a private tour. The tour lasts about 2 hours, but it goes by really fast. It is educational. We did run into some fog when we did ours, but coming back we had some really good views. As our boat captain retrieved one of the traps to pull up some lobsters, our tour guide kept us informed on everything that was going. She was very thorough. Thing is, our host wanted a volunteer to put the rubber bands on the claws so we could handle the lobster, and Jeannie was happy to do it.
These things are great for sailing around at the bottom of the ocean, finding places to hide, and also looking for things to eat. So in between your 2 large those claws don't bend, so you can stuff food into his mouth. But you have to get it in there somehow. Are they big enough to keep?
No.
So you say no to that one? Yes to that one.
3-4 stitches.
Maximum legal size for a lobster.
Oh, look at that stick.
Who would like to do the honors?
Carol?
After we got an education on the lobster anatomy and the size, the tool they use to determine if they can keep one, of course we had to take lobster selfies. Then it was on to Egg Rock Lighthouse. It's on Egg Rock Island, where we got to enjoy some wildlife. Really pretty scenes. We got to see mostly seals on the island, but it was a fun trip. Like I said, it's about 2 hours. If you want more info, I'll link it in the description. One way to get to Acadia National Park from Bar Harbor is to cross over to Bar Island. What's unique about this is this little peninsula that goes across to the island, which is only available a few hours a day. And you have to be careful, because if you do get stranded over at the island, it could be up to 9 hours before you could come back. Or you could get rescued very expensively, $150 from a water taxi. The morning we went, it was a little bit foggy, so we didn't get a good look at Bar Harbor from the island. And you can see tide pools as you're crossing, but unfortunately there was no aquatic life in any of the ones that we checked out. Once you get over there, you are entering Acadia National Park officially, and you're supposed to have a pass, but I didn't see anybody over there checking them. Like I said before, we probably went about 2 weeks too early because everything hasn't bloomed yet, so it's not as pretty as I'm sure it is in the summer. After your little walk around on the island, turn around and get back ahead of the tide so you're not stranded. Things to do in Acadia National Park. One is you can drive up to Cadillac Mountain. It is the highest point on the eastern seaboard in the U.S. It offers magnificent views of the glaciated coastal and island landscape. Popular stop is Thunder Hole. Makes a unique sound like thunder, but make sure you get there an hour or two before high tide. Our next stop was Sand Beach, the only place around that you can swim. The water doesn't get much above 55 degrees even in the middle of the summer. No thanks. Many hikes you could do at Acadia. Jordan Pond is one of the most popular, and that's the one we decided to do. We went counterclockwise around the lake, and pretty much most of it is easy until you get towards the last half. Then you have to navigate over some rocks and boulders, which on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably a 5 or 6. After the boulders, you get these nice little planks that you have to walk over, and they're not too bad. They take you over some muddy and wet terrain, which you'd be happy not to step in. They get pretty narrow, so they have these little almost pull-outs if someone's coming the other way that you can move to the side. And if you have vertigo, imagine this could be a challenge. And towards the end, I was really happy that it was over, because really you can't really admire the beauty of the place while you're trying to navigate these narrow pathways. But all in all, I'm glad we took the hike. Whenever we travel, we always check to see if there's a Pedego dealer in town so we can rent the bikes that we own, so we're accustomed to them in a strange environment. No exception, Acadia had a Pedego dealer right outside the park, and the trail was great because we didn't have to go through too many streets to get to the park. There's a carriage road around the park. It was built by one of the Rockefellers, and it was for horses way back then, the 20s, and there's no motorized vehicles allowed on the. Now, even though Pedegos are technically electric bikes, be aware if you're a Pedego owner that they do disconnect the throttles, so you just have pedal assist. We may have gone a week or two too early because, as you can see, not everything have been blooming, but it's still a beautiful ride through there, and they have so many lakes.